everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Godforge. For today's video, I finally did it. I was slow, but I took the time. I got there. I didn't get too stuck, honestly, just didn't have time. But we did 150 and 151 in the Caverns of Chaos. Alright, so we are, what is this? This is Tuesday. Last night I actually got to 150, Monday night, but I was so tired that I really didn't want a brain to try to beat it. I tried it a couple times. I had pushed a couple stages that were a little rough for these other ones, and used a lovely rare hero to be a main damage dealer from like 142 onward, or after that probably. But 150 definitely got me. Like, this wasn't too bad. 150 got me, and I had to slow down a little and played for an hour or two this morning before diving into some more work, and I figured I would make a video and record that whole process. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna showcase my video. I'm gonna talk through my run, and then I'll show you the heroes that I use to beat it. What does their gear look like, their weapons, the imprints, all of that fun stuff. So I have been playing since the start of this Alpha 3, of course, but I played very lightly. I never really got stuck. I just didn't grind. I didn't take the time to push. The first time I had to do a stage more than like twice was 142, but that was literally, oh no, I did it twice. I had it once with my Anubis team, with Anubis as a main DPS, and then I put in Zeus because Zeus. Forgot how amazing Zeus really is for AoE, like, or for wave content. Oh my god, his basic skill is so good, which you're gonna see in my video for this. But my god, if you have Zeus, just use him everywhere, no questions asked. I'm really looking forward to the full game. I love that Zeus is so powerful and so amazing, because at the end of the day, he's a legendary, eternal character. So if you play other games like Raid that has a Void, or Watcher of Realms that have the ancient exclusive heroes, he's going to be one of those. He's going to be harder to pull. We're not all just going to have Zeuses and have them awaken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not that easily anyway. So I think he's going to be rarer to pull. He's going to feel special, and he should feel special. He's really cool. He's a really good character. And I don't think there's got to be someone that's the best DPS in the game, and he might be it right now. And I think that's completely okay. And I kind of hope it stays that way. He's very fun. But everything is subject to change. We are on Alpha Wave 3, I should say. So a lot could change by the time the beta drops. And of course, the global launch in the future. But today, I want to showcase this. So, I just kind of wanted to give you an update. Like, I wasn't struggling every single day. I actually was pretty proud of my grinds. I definitely did some overnight grinds, or some grinding for 4 or 5 hours at least. Never fully overnight, actually, where I tried to get some heroes. I didn't get a ton of legendaries until more recently. I got a few more, but we did well with what we had, and I was pretty proud of my progress. Now my goal will be to work on the stars. So Fafnir, stage 150 is what I'm going to show you guys, because that's what this video is more about. Because 151, just do some damage on it. As soon as you do 150, do something on 151, just so you get on the leaderboard. The top 1,000 people will get those super cool reward coins. But yeah, here. So info, you can click on the boss's skills in battle as well, but you also can see them here. Now the basic 151, so he has this enraged version and exhausted. So let's read through his skills. We have attacks all enemy 2 times. Each hit activates Blaze 3. That's his basic. His core activates attack all enemies, places Blaze 3 for 5 turns. And his ultimate, Flames of Fafnir, attacks all enemies, continuously activates Blaze on enemies until Blaze has been consumed. He heals himself by 20% of his max HP and places Drain on himself for 3 turns and becomes exhausted. See, when you notice that boss healing, that's when he's using his ultimate ability. So if you can do a little bit of divinity control, so he doesn't use his ultimate too often, so he's not healing himself too often, or switching to the other state, that would be ideal. So some divinity boosting on your team is helpful. but he does gain divinity for a lot of reasons, so let's continue looking here. He gains divinity when placing blaze on enemies. So technically you could be trying to resist the blazes. You could have someone using a buff to prevent them. Or you could be, yeah, well, the resist would be a bit high. I don't know the exact number, but I believe someone was talking about over 200, maybe 220 resist should be enough. I cannot confirm. I don't know those exact details myself, nor have I tested it personally. But you could try to resist the blaze so they're not there and you're not boosting your divinity. So divinity is what increases the meter to allow the ultimates to happen in the first place, so you don't want him boosting his divinity as much as possible. But this is the reality too. If you do block or resist blaze, you gain 50 or 25 divinity. So either way, he's still gaining divinity whether you block it or resist it. Or he places it, he's gaining divinity, but he gains less if you block it or resist it. So you can try that strategy as well if you feel like he's coming to his ultimate way faster than you're ready for. Also, this is pretty cool. When he receives a disable, removes it and decreases his divinity. This doubled when freeze is placed. So this, you can see freeze is really important and a really great mechanic against Fafnir. And that's where Scotty, the rare, comes in really handy, especially if you're talking about stage 90 instead of stage 150. Earlier on, survivability is a little bit easier for those squishy rares, but you can definitely give her a try. I've seen a couple people use her at stage 150 as well, but freezes are going to be great here. But you could use other disables as well, and he is taunt immune, but as stated officially in the Discord, it is known that the taunt is landing, of course, with the Green Knight, so you can use Green Knight to taunt, and that does count here and does help. And that's what I actually did, was use Green Knight, because while it's technically bugged, it's not like a big exploit or hindering the overall gameplay or integrity of the gameplay for that one particular bug. Fafnir receives Blaze, increases divinity by 100. So the one thing you don't want to do is Blaze Fafnir. I mean, you can. I've seen people use YDG as a main DPS. But he is going to, boom, come to his ultimate. Now, you can encourage his ultimate by making him go into the exhausted state, which could have its benefits too. So it depends on how you want to look at it. All right, so here we have the next skill. The Fafnir has a 100% chance of placing Blaze 3 for one turn on enemies and attacking. This chance is reduced by 25% for each hero archetype on the team. So this is where having a well-balanced team actually helps you do less, well, helps you get less blazes on you. Pretty cool, right? That's actually really helpful. It's just one less thing, but yeah, if you have a Slayer, a Defender, an Invoker, a Disruptor, and a Brawler on your team, you're balanced. But you don't need to. You can definitely get away without trying to have every single one. You don't have to reduce this chance to 100% less, you know, likely that you'll get that extra buff. You don't have to. I didn't worry about that completely, but I did notice that was a clever mechanic here. All right, so there's also these general passives, like after each ultimate cast, the damage inflicted increases by 10%. Immune to increase and decrease divinity cost abilities and locked debuffs. Oh, wait. Oh, cost. Divinity cost abilities. Okay. I was like, no, he's not immune to divinity. It's just the cost. All right. And then here we have this passive mythic persistence. When the turn meter reduced, gain immunity to turn meter. Oh, when the turn meter reduced, gain immunity to turn meter decrease effects until the next turn. When divinity is reduced, gain immunity to divinity decrease effects. So this is where they limited it. Like, you can't just endlessly deplete the divinity meter or turn meter of the boss. You can only do it once per turn. You could still do it, and it definitely still helps, but it can't be the focus of the battle for these endless battles where you just never stop decreasing meters and making the boss just never go. That's part of one of the adjustments, and that's definitely a good one. All right, now he does switch to this exhausted state after using his ultimate, right? So what's the difference there? This is where his basic attack will still be an AoE, but he will increase the duration of debuffs by one turn on the enemy. So all those blazes that he put in the enraged state, he's going to extend the duration of those if you haven't removed them. Increases his divinity for each debuff increased. So ideally, this is going to be one of those things where you're going to want removals or prevention in the future, especially if this is similar to how the boss stays for the normal dungeon. When we have more kits, more heroes with different diversities, this is going to be huge. Okay, Burning Embers. His core attacks all enemies, transfers all debuffs from Fafnir onto each enemy. Oh boy. The chance to transfer is reduced by 25% for each unique hero archetype. So this is where you can, as long as you have 4 different hero archetypes, he's not going to do that. It's pretty cool. So if you only have like Slayers and Defenders and that's it, then you're not helping this very much. That's just the example. Okay, ultimate here. Attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted is increased by 50% if the enemy is under a vulnerable 3. Increases Fafnir's max HP, defense, and attack by 5% for each enemy under a debuff, and then becomes enraged. So he switches back to his other form. Exhausted? Okay. And then here, the passive, he has a 100% chance of placing Acid Invulnerable 3 for 1 turn when attacking enemies. The chance is reduced by 10% for each unique hero archetype. So, again, reduced chances of getting these debuffs thrown back at you, or thrown at you. And then it increases his divinity by 50 for each time a debuff is placed. If it resists, he gains 20 instead. So it's still better to try to resist or remove. Passive Exhausted here. Same thing with the increased damage kind of builds up over time. And then the passives are the same. So this is 151. Now, 150. This is 150. Now, 151 is very similar. There's just extra passives here, like the boss is immortal. He doesn't die. And then there's been some other adjustments that you don't necessarily see here for 151. So I wanted to show those here. So Fafnir will now ignore Immortal. In addition, shields, barriers, and ward after Fafnir has cast 20 ultimates. So that will make it a lot harder to stay alive. And then Fafnir 151 will now end after 500 turns have taken place in the battle. And this is everything, not Fafnir's 500 turns. This is your turns and Fafnir's turns. It's just turns. And then Fafnir and the Golden Guardian stats have been increased overall. So the boss gained some extra survivability himself and more damage. So no crazy long days of running your computer to try to get a high score, which was definitely not ideal for a contest like this. Okay guys, I talked long enough, so let me go ahead and show you the run. I am gonna talk through the run, maybe skip some parts or speed up a couple parts, we'll see, but I'm gonna try to show it all because I think it's fun to see. We'll quickly show my final ending run, which maybe, I will probably not talk through that one because it's kind of funny. Isis forgets she can revive, apparently, when you put her on auto. That was interesting to see. I don't know why, unless she was... something else was there that I didn't notice at the very end. But Isis forgot she could revive everybody, and so did I, apparently, because once people died, I forgot I had a reviver on my team, and I just hit the battle on auto and said, fine, it's good enough. It's okay. Alright, sorry guys, this is a long video, but I really wanted to take the time to do a little bit of a deeper dive and really talk about this. I had a lot of fun, but at the very end, I will pop back in and show you my heroes and how they were built, and I will try to go through that quickly. So, let's roll the battles now and see how that played out. After losing a few times, I noticed I needed survivability for the aura, so defense was the one to go with here for Heimdall. We stuck to the basics with the first round. I did use Heimdall's core to get some extra damage to help make it easier for Zeus to come in later. We're gonna stick to a Green Knight's basic attack. Doesn't really matter who he is hitting, whatever. Zeus, basic. If he kills someone, he has an extra chance to go again. Extra chance to go again. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. 75% chance if the enemy is defeated to take an extra turn. So you just use Zeus's basic attack. Now, I messed up there. I should have hit Scotty. But having Scotty and Brynhild alive, but not doing too much damage, is helpful for this next round here of turns where they're able to do a couple more basic hits and help recharge their divinity meters, or charge it, and come back to their core faster. So here I'm actually going to just use a basic... Oh, there we go. We used Zeus's ultimate to take out Hell, and then we're going to use the basic of Isis, and there. Same thing here, kind of the same idea. I did use Zeus's core right away because I was having trouble killing Hell, and she was just, yeah, needed to kill, or she confused you, literally. But here we go. Similar rotation as the first wave, just kind of sticking to people's basic abilities so they're saved for the last round. But I did use Zeus's ultimate. Otherwise, we're just trying to take out everyone with Zeus and then use Brynhild to A1 cycle, as we would call it in Raid. But in this case, just cycling your skills to come back to your basic, or using your basic only to come back to your core and be able to charge your divinity faster. So we're going to come in here. Achilles, we are not going to use our ultimate, so he's just going to sit there. This is really important here for my speeds being too slow. Isis, I went with her her core, because I wanted to give that shield. But see that skill there, I double checked these ultimates. Is there really any benefit to using them ahead of time before we have anything on the boss? No. So for Green Knight, you want to wait to use his ultimate until he has a taunt on the boss first. And Achilles, we're just never going to use it. We're going in here. And now we're going to use this to taunt the boss. Then we're going to use his ultimate. Does more damage when taunted, right? Was it something like that? Already forgot the wording. It's fine. Now Zeus's turn. Definitely using that core for a nice big hit. And overall, you're just going to use things pretty logically here, but my Zeus did die. So you can see the survivability is an issue, and my shield was not good enough originally from Isis, but luckily she's a reviver, so we're going to try to bring him back a little bit later when she can. So I don't want to bring him back now because that would be silly, but guess what? I did. I made a mistake and I brought back Zeus right here, right before the boss was gonna go. And what do you think the boss is just gonna do? Kill him again. So don't revive when the boss is about to take a turn or two, because that was just a wasted revive. But luckily, Achilles will be to the rescue. It just made this run a little bit slower. We're gonna continue progressing using Achilles' basic attack and his core whenever it's ready, but never his ultimate. Green Knight always using his... Everyone else always using their core when it's ready. Except for... Actually, no, everyone. Everyone are going to use the core when it's ready. That just buffs Achilles, and then he can do his hit. There is just a bug where we're missing information. But this could be debated to be saved, but I want to make sure no one else dies or she doesn't die before she can revive. So I did use her core to get that shield on others. She takes an extra turn after she does her shield. So we just want to make Isis go as much as possible and get that divinity charged as well. Slow, slow, slow. It's not moving very fast. Her divinity is pretty slow, unfortunately. Heimdall, we're definitely using his core. Oh, and we can as well. He's getting there on his abilities too. So the idea would be to revive at a point where we know the boss is not about to go, bring Zeus back into the mix and help make this fight faster. But in the meantime, we're just chipping away with our bleeds. Even though they still do less damage, it's helpful. So again, we're just still ignoring Achilles' ults, no matter what. Ignore it. The bleeds are more powerful to stack than having Achilles actually use them, like an explosion type thing. Alright, I did decide again to use her shield, even though we haven't revived yet, because I just need to make sure people stay alive to get to the point of reviving Zeus. Once Zeus gets back into the mix, the battle will go a little bit faster, but this was a very slow start. I think it's like over 8 minutes for my battle. That's alright, we're just chilling. So basic attacks galore. Cores when we can. Ideally using a Green Knight's ultimate after you've used his core so he has the taunt to do more damage. And yeah, ready with Achilles to buff himself to make his attacks do more damage, and then he takes an extra turn after he uses his core. Again, basic skill, and she's finally going to be ready after this next boss move to revive Zeus. There she is. Revive is ready, but let's make sure we use it wisely. Okay, boss is attacked. We're good. So we can use her revive, bring back Zeus, and then we're going to use our shield to be safe and protect him and everyone else, just in case anything triggers the boss going again unexpectedly, which definitely happened to me a couple times. I didn't realize he was going to go twice, and I'm like, oops. There we go. It's because those ultimate timings. But now that Zeus is in the mix, it's gonna feel nice. He's gonna go. He has a chance to go again, but that doesn't usually proc unless he kills someone, but it can. It's a low chance to proc, but it can still proc. Boom, boom. I think I mistakenly use... Do I use Green Knight? Okay, no. Perfect. See, taunt on the boss, then using Green Knight's ultimate. There we go. We're getting there, though. The stacks got a little bit better with the bleeds. Higher stacks, the better. They stay on, too, for the sake of the 151 fight, which is really nice. And when you can leave the bleeds just there while the fight is finishing, remember, it takes men to remove a bleed. So unless the boss is actually doing that, he's gonna keep the bleeds even if Achilles dies early. So you just gotta get those bleeds on, which is pretty fun mechanic overall for this boss fight. But yeah, we have shields. Boss is chilling, but not for long. Ultimate's ready for the boss too, so things are getting a little scary. But thank goodness for Heimdall. If you don't have Heimdall and or Isis, Brynhild with her abilities can be great protection. Absolutely a strong one to use. There we go. We're chipping away. Nothing too crazy happening here. It's not a fancy fight. It's a little slow, but it was my first time beating 150, so I just wanted to get it done. And then my goal will be to go back through and do the other stars and come back later and worry about doing more damage once I've farmed more resources the next couple days. But I'm going to worry about farming and to get all my heroes' skills maxed up, get everyone max ascended, you know, just get more weapons maxed out that I actually need for each individual hero that are more ideal. Get that Isolde imprint off of someone there, Achilles in this case, which I didn't realize until after this fight, you'll see. But yeah, there we go, guys. There we go. There we go. And slow black screen of death, which will be adjusted with optimizations. And our legendaries, we got a Dracula, we got a Loki. Dracula will help for the future for sure. But yeah, Achilles was actually the main DPS. Of course, my Zeus did die at one point, but it's all about those bleeds anyway for sake of the boss damage, even though they do less overall. Alright, so let's go on to 151. This is pretty much the same here, except for that extra passive like I showed with the skills, but you can read them. And the notes were already mentioned about the changes. So same team, we're just going to roll in just to get some damage on the board. I am going to try to manual with a similar strategy just for sake of the start here, but this is not a perfect team by far. There's so much to work on. My gear is terrible, my weapons are half leveled. Some of them are amazing, some are terrible. Some have imprints, some don't. But yeah, we're gonna start with the survivability right away this time. We want to make sure we get any shields or protection we possibly can to survive these boss smacks, because things are gonna happen a little bit differently in this battle. And we don't have all of our abilities ready to go, no ultimates ready and all that fun stuff quite yet. But yeah, same idea, using the same abilities, trying to focus using Achilles to stack up some bleeds. But let's just say he's not going to survive very long, and we're probably not going to get too many, but it's fine. So a few smacks, and we're seeing those hits take a toll on our epic. He could definitely use some more stats, but it is what it is. Hopefully that Dracula will come in handy and help me do even better damage here. We will have to see. Or at least survive better. But boom, boom, look at that. So I already lost my 2 DPS. But my dumbass forgot that I have a reviver on the team. It's called Isis. She's right there. She's literally right there. But what do? I gave up. I just was like, you know what? We're just getting damage on the board. Let me just hit the full auto and walk away. So I'm just gonna let this run play out. And I found it really funny toward the end. Isis could have used her ultimate to revive, but she didn't. So she forgot she had an ultimate too, apparently, unless it happened right after at the very end, and that's why. But yeah, we do not end up reviving our DPSs, and the battle ends after 1 million or so. I'll let it finish out so you can see my first completion, and then we will go on to those hero builds. Alright, so how did I have people build? Before I go ahead and start messing up my builds and changing things, let's take a look. So, the main DPS was, well, actually, Achilles here, the Epic. I did have him fully skilled here. You can see fully upgraded, fully ascended, and then, of course, level 60 and 6-star. His awakenings are also fully awakened. Now, he does have a weird bug here with his core ability. When you have him awaken 1, he does also places retaliate on this hero. That's not the only thing he does. But that's all you see here for this. He does still place attack up and sharpen on himself, and then he takes another turn. So this is really important to know. It's not just to place as a buff and that's it. So you should use his core ability because he's only making his damage higher. Then you will use your basic attack. And again, as mentioned with Achilles, you don't never worry about using the ultimate. Just stack as many bleeds as possible. Other than that, my gear is terrible. I barely have sets on people. I barely have the... I have like no crit rate, crit damage stuff. It's extremely limited. So we're using what we got. But we have initiative, speed, flat HP. Just trying to get some whatever to make... I don't even know. I think I was just making a set because it was literally better than nothing because I wanted a little bit of survivability because he was a little bit squishy and dying. Crit rate here, not crit damage, a rank 3 one. I have terrible luck with my gear. As you can see over here, I don't have a ton of nice orange gear with high ranks. Not much at all. I did not farm enough gear apparently, but I tried. And I have accuracy on him because he needs 150 plus accuracy on him. He needs to land those bleeds. It probably should be a little bit higher for that final stage 150. Probably more like 170, 180 would have made me feel a little bit more comfortable. His speed's a little slow at only 1 at 48. But that is his build, and we do have a World Splitter of Isolde on him. Isolde makes things not... This Isolde imprint is bugged. It does make people not retaliate properly, which I had not had this on him originally, but I switched it just for the sake of the stats. I probably should have put this one on him instead without the imprint, but just keep in mind the Isolde one is bugged, so you don't want to use that. Alright, I want to take a little bit extra moment to talk through that here, but again, you want to focus using his basic attack and his core, and skip using his ultimate, and don't have this imprint ideally on your team, unfortunately, because of the current bug. But it was good enough for me. Alright, next up we had Zeus as a DPS. He also is fully upgraded for his abilities. I did farm for that. As you can see, my scrolls at the top, I did some farming. We have a fully, or not fully awakened. ascended, sorry, not fully ascended, but 6-star. He is in his gear with the Green Knight as the imprint. I'll probably change that later, but for now, that's it. It is not level 66-star for his piece. I have to farm more resources to crunch another to finish it off. But he does have a 4-piece wolf set, so that's a lot of extra attack. Nothing crazy with my gear here. Just crit rate, not nice crit damage gloves, but good enough. We have attack here, which would ideally be more speed, and then initiative on the boots, but my speed greaves, my speed leggings, legs, boots, pants, oh sorry, my speed pants are in short supply, so it is what it is. My builds are far from perfect. Far from perfect. And I have no awakenings on him as well. Alright, for survivability, we had Heimdall. I do have an Awakened 1 Heimdall, which helps him heal, which is pretty cool. Hearing-wise, he is in this epic weapon with a Shishi imprint on him. Oh, I realized I never showed you what the imprint for... Wait, why is it not working? Is it not? Why is it not working? It wasn't working! Now it is. Is it doing that thing again? No. My imprint is not working. If it is, it would show here. Why is my imprint not working? That's bugged. If you don't see your extra imprint, it ain't working. Maybe it was working in the battle. Okay, I don't remember. Sorry if it was. It might have been working in the battle. Okay, anyway, but you should see the imprint. You should see the imprint. Now I have no idea what's happening. All right, like you do here. Imprint, steadfast. So this is the Shishi one. It allows, when the enemy attempts to place a debuff, has a chance to heal that ally based on their HP. So he's not super high HP for me, but he's all right. Again, not a maxed out weapon even. He's got crit rate, defense, crit damage, HP defense. So a whole bunch there. But this should be more speed. He's actually okay speed-wise. I'm surprised I got that speed on him somehow. Oh, I got some good speed rolls, that's why. Okay. A little bit of speed thrown in. Not enough. Could be a lot better. This is not going to be good enough for the final boss if I want to do some good damage. But it's what we got for now. And I left it for that battle we got through. Alright, and then we had the Green Knight. He is fully awakened as well, so he gets that extra divinity here. Placing men, blah blah blah. Alright, initiative. And increases his max HP by 10%. He is in a Shishi with a Shishi imprint as well on this weapon too. HP percentage, so when gains turn meter when he's attacked, which he's definitely going to be attacked more often when you have a taunt in the mix. And then we have just some basic initiative speed. He does have some HP on him here. Accuracy, HP, and then this isn't an attack. So he is, of course, again, my builds are far from perfect. I didn't overly try, but he does hit okay. He's based on HP and attack as a brawler, so that helps to get some ability stuff on, or to get some stats on him that way. But I did not aim for perfection in this. I just wanted to get it done, right? And I did end up using Isis as my last hero involved here. So she has a couple awakenings on her, which is definitely helpful. And then I had this weapon actually redirects 18% of the damage inflicted on the ally with the lowest HP, the lowest current HP. And I had some resistance, but I never really built in the resistance to be high enough to really come into effect. I did give her initiative speed, initiative here to give her a much better ability to come back. She definitely needs a little bit more initiative. She's kind of slow to come to her ultimate if you do need to revive. But otherwise, I just focused HP percentage, and then I had like no HP percentage gloves, so I just went with a flat HP level 12 one. But none of my builds are perfect, and none of my weapons are perfect. None of my awakenings are, so I think I did pretty good given what I had. Hope this video was fun to watch and helpful. Sorry it was a long one, but it's kind of fun to dive in and do a little bit of a team showcase. And I will see you in the next video.